Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Deca. And a year ago, I was working in an engineering consultancy in London. So I'm an example of what you'd call brain drain, the fuga di cervelli. And it's such a big phenomenon in Italy that there's actually fiscal measures that try to incentivize people to come back. So now I'm back, totally different context, surprisingly similar applicable skills. And the reason I came back is not the fiscal incentives, it's Urbe. Okay, let's do a show of hands. Who is familiar with eThrone? I should try another. Who knows what a hackathon is? Okay, I don't have to explain that. So we've hosted eThrone for 2 years in a row, having hundreds of developers and builders from across the world coming here, and many international sponsor projects. And out of it came a lot of incredible hackathon projects. The one that we always like to cite is FluidKey, that you'll hear from in a bit. So that's eThrone. And I'm excited to say that in 2025, we will host eThrone again. And not only that, it's going to get a little bit of a facelift. But more on that later. Okay, let's do another show of hands. Who is familiar with Urbe Campus? Less people. Okay, definitely less sexy than eThrone, but it's a very valuable education format. We've refined this over the course of 7 editions across the world. It's basically a 1-week Web3 full-stack development course. What the hell does that mean? Let's get rid of all that jibber-jabber jargon. Basically, it's a course for people who are beginners to learn how to create websites in Web3. So as I said, we did this 7 times. We did it in Italy, we did it in Bangkok, Thailand, in Belgium, in Poland. And over the course of these 7 sessions, we've refined the format more and more, making it the ideal tool for people who want to get into the industry. So 2024 has been a year of refinement, of iteration, for Urbe Campus. In 2025 will be a year of consolidation. Not only because we've refined the format always more, but because we have a team of teachers and mentors that are really strong. They are veterans of 100 hackathons and winners of 100 bounties. I'm actually not far off from being accurate on that. And yeah, we look forward to going strong on this format in the coming year. We've already started with the first of these sessions. Now, compared to Urbe Campus, Urbe Hacker House is a format that is still an educational format, but meant for more advanced builders and developers. So here we deep dive a specific topic, protocol, SDK, set of APIs, or so on, for 1 or 2 days. And it's less of a classroom format and more of a collaboration style. So generally, the morning begins with a guide. So the guide, it doesn't necessarily the most advanced developer in the room, but is the one who's most familiar with the documentation of this project, who's actually built on the project before. So they will be explaining the documentation, some of the pitfalls, the typical use cases. But then throughout the day or 2 days, something quite magical happens. I've witnessed it a couple of times. Basically, it organically becomes a collaborative effort where everyone in the room is working together to try to figure out what are all the edge cases, what are all the use cases that people haven't considered. Are there any gaps in the documentation? And if so, how do we reverse engineer? I don't know, maybe there's an API request that it hasn't been properly specified in the documentation. So this is extremely valuable for the participants because they basically get to very efficiently and effectively learn about the protocol very quickly. But it's also very valuable for the sponsors because they hear what builders who know what they're doing, how they perceive the technology the first time they see it. They get to very quickly find what are the gaps. What are the gaps in my documentation? What are the gaps in my technology? What are some edge cases that I haven't considered or use cases I haven't considered? So this too is a format that we'll be going strong on in 2025. And we plan to host recurring sessions of Urbe Hacker Houses at the Urbe Hub. it literally started in a very organic way. It was just like, let's learn about this protocol. Maybe I'm preparing for a hackathon, or I just want to learn this protocol. The picture is very illustrative of this. Next. The Urbe House, well, the Urbe House is my favorite. It was just one experiment, but it was so much fun. We hosted it during ETHCC. So for those of you that are familiar with this crazy crypto circus around the world, basically at this very big conference, and ETHCC is the biggest Ethereum European conference, there's always tens, if not hundreds of side events. So what we did is we rented a building, a 3-story building, for 4 weeks, and inside we did a bunch of side events. So there was the Urbe campus, preparing students for the upcoming ETH Global Hackathon. There was also co-working, free lunches for people that came, plenty of hacker houses, deep diving, some partners, sponsors that we have. We also had like karaoke nights and just generally goofing around. It really scratched the niche. It gave us a feel for what having a physical place to work from, to spend time together, what that could actually be like. And also the power of having multi-day events. So you probably know what I'm alluding to. I'm going to get there. OK, let's take a step back. Why are we here? What is the purpose of Urbe? What value does Urbe provide? Obviously, that depends who you ask. If you ask builders, and when I say builders, it's a term that is broader than just developers. We mean people who actually do. One of our sayings is build, don't tell. So if you ask builders, it's community. So this community has given us a home inside the industry, a place to have shared values, but also for people who are very proactive, hardworking, creative. Like Limone was saying earlier, it's the thing that brings us all together, we want to do. But also to help newcomers come into the industry and avoid the pitfalls. And there definitely are pitfalls. See, Urbe stands proud to say that there is another camp. Not the loud ones, not the ones that you hear about in the media, not the ones that play zero-sum games and launch meme coins and speculate for short-term financial gain. There is another camp. There are people who still believe the values, the cypherpunk values that this industry is built on. See, Urbe believes in trusting maths and cryptography over brands and institutions. Urbe believes in that the majority of any sufficiently large group will be well-intentioned. And Urbe also believes that incentive alignment, made possible with blockchain technology, actually has the potential to improve society. And we obviously also believe in having fun while we're at it, because you've seen all the stickers and plush toys upstairs. So what if we ask sponsors, projects, protocols, what value does Urbe provide to them? So I don't know if this is clear to everyone, but builders are one of, if not the scarcest resource in the industry, especially when there is such a strong pull towards, everyone's just chasing the narrative dragon, just trying to follow the narrative that's happening right now, the alpha. So real projects, serious projects that are trying to build something legitimate, real value for people, they find it incredibly difficult to find and retain builders. It's very hard. It's very hard because you need to create an emotional connection. You need to create meaning for people. And that takes time. So how might we address this problem? So for 2025, we're giving you 2 responses to this problem. First, some have called it a guild. Others have called it a build-a-thon. We're calling it a build sprint. Introducing Just Frame It. All right, before I go into the details of this format, I should give you some context. Forecaster is an innovative new online social media platform. The main difference between Farcaster and the social media platforms you're probably familiar with is that it is not owned by a company. In fact, it's a public underlying protocol. Think of it as similar to email. Just like email is a public good and Gmail is owned by a company, or Yahoo Mail or AOL or whatever. Similarly, Farcaster is an underlying protocol. This has huge implications. It means that a company does not own your data on the platform. It means that no one can rate limit you, no one can ban you. And you can freely move between platforms. So this is Farcaster. Within Farcaster, there's an innovation called Frames. Frames allow you to have fully functioning mini apps right inside your social media feed. This means that you don't need to click on a link and go to another website while you're scrolling through Farcaster. And Farcasters came out a little over a year ago in January of 2024 on a Friday. And I believe that by that very Sunday, Limone had already launched 10 fully functioning frames. So since then, he and the Builders Garden team have come a really long way. So Just Frame It is an opportunity for 6 lucky teams to be taught by and mentored by some of the best frame builders in all of Farcaster in a hybrid format that is both online and in person, with an optional meetup in New York and an end of the program in Rome, happening soon. I think applications are going to be open from March, from this Monday. All right, that was the first. Second, what if we look at the Urbe house we did in Belgium as a pilot? And what if we looked at this place we have right here, the Urbe Hub, as a massive opportunity to do in-person events? And what if we took all of the event formats I've described today and put them together? So this is the vision for Urbe Village. At face value, Urbe Village is typical pop-up city. What is it? Co-working, co-living, and events. However, we know it's much more than that. Having lived through pop-up cities, we know that the value they provide goes far beyond that. It includes cross-proliferation of ideas and collaboration of projects, and also the proliferation of values. As I described earlier, we need to proliferate these values. A lot of the industry is focused on all the wrong things. So right here, this room, the 2 adjoining rooms, the restaurant where we all just ate together, the Urbe Hub that we all just visited, the bar where you might have ordered a cappuccino and cornetto this morning. In October, for 2 weeks, this will become Urbe Village, hosting a high density of highly skilled, passionate Web3 builders. So these were the 2 announcements. I hope that you're interested. And if you haven't yet, please follow us on X. Thank you.